What's up guys, my name's EarthToLydia. Today I'm going to be doing something that I usually stray away from. Two of my most viewed videos on my channel right now are for my troll tier list that I made for Survivor and Killer. Obviously that was just for fun and not really helpful to anyone looking for genuine advice, but after the first episode of the Fables of the Fog podcast got released, we got quite a bit of feedback, and from that I realized that people really do enjoy more of a detailed analysis. So today I'm going to do something which you might actually find useful and give a breakdown on Zarina and her teachable perks, and then give my opinion on whether or not they're suited to a newer player to the game or somebody that already has some experience. So as this is something different, if you guys end up liking the video and want me to do something like this for other survivors, please leave a comment letting me know, and be sure to like the video as well. Alright, Zarina. So at the time of me recording this, Zarina is the newest survivor to Dead by Daylight. Like most of the other female characters in the game, she has a very small character model. She's also one of the quieter female characters. As she has a slightly deeper voice, this makes her a little harder to track when in pain as opposed to high-pitched characters like Feng or Yui. By default, her color palette is pretty neutral and consists of earthy brown and red tones. If you decide to run her default skins, then the maps that share these tones are maps like the one from her chapter release, the Dead Dog Saloon, and Coldwind Farm maps. This could also potentially help you on maps like Autohaven as well, as they have a lot of yellow tones. So all of these traits are going to be things that give you a slight advantage if you want to avoid sticking out like a sore thumb. For example, if you're going for the Adept achievement, or if you just prefer to avoid chase and either play the medic or the gen jockey instead. So that's the really basic stuff out of the way. Now let's talk a little bit about her teachable perks. So for anyone new to the game, teachable perks are perks that are unique to a specific character until you unlock them at level 30, level 35, and level 40 in their blood webs. The first perk that we have for Zarina that's unlocked at level 30 is Off the Record. This perk makes it so that when you're unhooked, your grunts of pain are rendered completely silent and you're immune to any of the killer's aura reading perks for a certain amount of time. As you tier up this perk, the time that the perk is active for lengthens. This perk is probably going to come most in handy against the likes of Barbecue and Bitter Murmur. So if you're quite conscious when the perk is active, then you can use that time to be more aggressive with sticking a gen across the other side of the map from a killer, or going for a hook save because you know that your aura can't be read. This is considered by many to be her weakest teachable perk overall, but I've genuinely enjoyed using it on builds on other survivors just for some variety. As far as rendering the grunts of pain silent, it does a worse job than Iron Will, which permanently renders you silent at tier 3 and not just on a timer. However, for hiding your aura, it does a better job than Distortion, which only has a set amount of tokens per game, so if the killer gets a lot of back-to-back hooks at the start of the game and they're running Barbecue, then that can easily eat these up fairly quickly. Her next perk, which is unlockable at level 35, is Red Herring. Red Herring becomes active once you repair a generator for at least 3 seconds. After those 3 seconds, the generator will become highlighted in a yellow aura, and the next time that you hop in a locker, that same generator that you are working on will trigger a failed skill check notification to the killer. This is one of those perks that sounds like it's going to be really useful on paper, but in reality is absolutely just a meme perk. This might be useful at lower ranks against newer killers, but most killers that have the slightest bit of game sense will rely less on noise notifications and a lot more on trustworthy signs of a survivor being around, like scratch marks or noises. This perk for me personally goes into the same kind of category as Pebble, as it's just more fun than practical overall. If you use it optimally, I'm sure that you can trick the killer quite well, but those moments are going to be few and far between, so if you do choose to run it, just have fun with it instead. And finally, once you reach level 40 on the Blood Web, you'll be able to unlock an incredibly good team perk for the People. When you're healthy, For the People activates and makes it so that the next time that you heal another survivor, you can choose to press the action button and heal them a full health state instantly. So obviously this is really good for countering things like Nurse's Calling, Sloppy Butcher, or any add-ons that the killer might have that give that survivor the mangled status effect, and overall just anything that prolongs the amount of time that it takes to heal a survivor. It's worth noting that this doesn't work on survivors with the broken status effect unless they're in the dying state. However, this perk does come at a cost. So if you choose to heal a survivor using For the People, it does sacrifice your own health state and puts you into the broken status effect for a certain amount of time. So what that means is that you cannot be healed by other survivors or by yourself at all until the broken status effect wears off. This can be a really game-changing perk if you use it correctly during the endgame collapse, or at any point where it looks like the game can be easily shut down by the killer. You could in theory use this at all levels of play, however I think newer players will struggle to cope with the broken status effect that they gain if they're not confident at looping or staying out of the killer's sight. So this is an incredibly strong perk, but also very balanced, as it does come at quite a high sacrifice. So overall, is she suited to newer or older players? I think Zarina is a perfect example of a balanced survivor that you could use at a lot of different ranks. Overall though, I would personally say that her teachable perks are more suited to a player that has at least a little bit of experience in the game, so I wouldn't say that she's an entry-level survivor. However, once you hit like green ranks and upwards, I think that you could do really well with her. You don't necessarily have to have many perks unlocked on her because her base kit's pretty decent if you want a good shot of being able to survive, and obviously if you're a red rank survivor, I don't really think that you're going to see much, if any, hindrance if you don't have your usual perks unlocked. But again, her teachable perks do require you to have a little bit of pre-existing game knowledge to time them well and use them optimally. None of them, except for maybe off the record, are very passive perks. So by that I mean a perk where you don't really notice the advantage that it's giving you. Red herring and for the people do require setup to be able to use them and are quite tactical perks overall. So that is my reasoning for saying that you probably need a little bit of game knowledge to be able to pull them off well. And that's all there really is to say about Zarina. If you have any questions or think I've missed anything, be sure to leave a comment and I'll answer to the best of my ability. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more breakdowns of more beginner-friendly survivors or who you should avoid as a beginner, then please do consider liking the video, and again, the comment section is open to all. But thank you so much for making it this far, guys. I really do appreciate you watching. If you do want to check out any of my other content, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EarthToLydia, and until the next video, have a great day.